Hey YouTube, welcome to my channel, The First Time Homeowner. Today I'm going to be walking you through what I decided to do to be able to charge my EV vehicle from a plug inside my garage, and to be able to have the garage door closed, keeping the critters out, and being able to remove the EV cable when I don't need it, and kind of swap in and out this little rubber piece. So if you're interested, stick around. First thing I did was to go to Google and to search for existing solutions. I typed EV cable under garage door. What I found I wasn't too happy with. A lot of the solutions involved some plastic piece that you could buy for $10 or so. It would protect the cable, but it would leave like a little gap under the garage door that I did not want. I didn't want any like mice or anything crawling underneath my door while I was charging for a couple hours. So I needed a better solution than that. And that's when I came up with the solution that I have, which is basically using a cable management cover that I already had at home, that I repurposed. Well, I didn't repurpose it. I actually bought a new one because the cable management cover I had wasn't long enough. I have a single car garage door. It's about 9 foot long, and I only had a 5-foot cable management cover. So I basically went onto Amazon. They have a couple different sizes. I believe this solution will still work if you have a double car garage door. But keep in mind, for me, I don't park my car in my garage. So in this video, you'll notice that I never permanently fix the cable management cover to the floor. That's something you could do. You could use something called liquid nails, polyurethane. They use that a lot to put some weather seals on the floor, so you can think about using that if you need something where it'll stay. If your car kind of runs over it, you don't want it to keep moving around. So that's a solution. So I finally got my Amazon package, my 10-foot long cable cover in black. It's pretty nice. It's nice thin design. I have the brown one, use it in my house. So I have links in the description for your convenience to this product, as well as the liquid nails that I mentioned if you need to fix this to the floor, if you actually do park your car in your garage, unlike me. But basically, when you get this thing, you really want to make sure that the diameter of the cable is less than the height of this cable cover. As long as that's the case, then the weight of the garage door should rest on the cable cover and not your EV cable. Your EV cable should be loose enough to slide underneath your garage door so you don't damage it. But if that's not the case, just return the product and get something else. The area under my garage door was pretty dirty, so I took a leaf blower to it, try to blow away some dust before I start my project. So once you got the area clean, lay out your cable cover, park it right up against the rail on one end, unravel it until it hits the other end, and then it's time to measure. You want to draw the line right between where your vertical piece of weather stripping is, and leave room for the cable. So as you can see here, I'm putting the cable as a guide, and that way the cable cover just stops short of the weather stripping, and then you can go ahead and draw your line, and this allows the cable width to be factored into your measurement. So now it's time to actually cut the cable cover. What you're going to need here is some sort of saw. I have a hacksaw here. I put it on top of a box because it was much easier to cut, and I wouldn't damage the floor that way. I would just cut into the box. So this is what it looks like after it's been cut. It's pretty rough, but that's okay. So this is what you want to see, the cable cover stopping just short of the vertical weather stripping. So what you want to look for is the seal after you close your garage door. As you can see here, this is not a very good seal because you can see daylight through underneath your garage door. That can be fixed. For me, the garage door actually kind of bent slightly outwards from the middle, so that's why there's this gap underneath. So all I had to do was I had to move the cable cover to kind of curve outwards, and then the seal was a lot better. So as long as you have a seal before the cable cover, you shouldn't see any gaps afterwards. If you still do after you kind of mess with the cable cover positioning, you might want to take a look at your insulation strip under your garage door if you have one. That might need to be replaced, so that's another way you can try to eliminate the gap. The next step is probably the most crucial step, is to make sure that your cable is nice and loose and that you can wiggle around, you can move it. And this is to make sure, again, that you don't want to be crushing your EV cable. You don't want to just constantly be putting pressure on it and just wear out the lifespan, or cause any sort of electrical malfunction. So just be sure to make sure that that is nice and loose. You have a decision to make now. How do you seal the gap after you remove your EV cable? You can use your remaining cable cover and cut two widths, one that's wider to put in after you remove your cable, and one that's not as wide for when you want to put your cable under your door. The other option is just to slide the one that's not as wide back and forth. Just as long as there's a seal, nothing can get through. It's really preference at this point. So there you have it, from start to finish. This is what I did. It worked really well for me. It might not work well for all situations. Hopefully you can take the idea and adapt it for what your needs are. And the tools are really just the hacksaw. I mean, you need a ruler to draw a line here and there, but the main thing is the hacksaw. And yeah, if you enjoyed the content, if it helped you out, please consider giving a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I'll list the materials that I used, the tools that I used down in the description below, so feel free to check that out. And thanks again for watching.